April 2nd, 2024. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on a 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. In the pre-market, it sold off pretty strongly. I couldn't see any real news of why it would sell off. Sold off about 50 points, I would say. And then right before the pre-market, right before regular hours opened, it kind of bottomed out. And when I saw this, I was pretty sure we're probably going to have a strong continuation sell-off because it didn't look like it was in a range. It was kind of earlier in a range, and then it decided to just sell off. So I thought this was pretty strong because it never came back to touch the EMA. And then it kind of sold off a little bit, and then it did a very slow, I guess 5.5 hour slow grind recovery that never, well, didn't really do too much. There was one piece of economic data that came out at a 7 o'clock Pacific Standard, which is about right here. It was the job openings, but as you can see, it didn't really cause too much reaction. So I didn't see too many setups, even though it looked like there could be some setups in here. It looked like there's some good swings. Fortunately, the setups didn't really clearly come out. I did take one trade today. It was a higher low. I'm going to go into the trades right now. This is what the pre-market looked like. It seemed like it was going to be in a trading range. It was very tight trading right here. It's about 10 points. Then it sold off. I don't know why this happened, but it did. And it kind of looked like it started to bottom out and save itself right before the market regular trading hours opened. And so the first setup I actually saw, go ahead and zoom in. So it looked like prices were following and obeying this yellow Dan channel. It broke out. Go ahead and made two attempts up, and then it created this second entry short. Now I thought it was a possible trade. I didn't want to take it because this is only 1 minute after the open, and there's already a few candles printed. It's a decent setup though, and it's a break of this yellow. Made two attempts up, and I'm thinking there could be a continuation down. The EMA is holding prices down because as you can see previously, prices never came back to touch it. So if this is the first attempt, I'm usually thinking that EMA will still be strong enough to reject prices down. It's a small signal bar. It's only 1 point. And so it's kind of a small risk, and there's enough room from here down to get your 1 point scalp. So it's a decent possible first entry long. I just am a little more cautious during the first minute of trading. Prices then continue moving. It hits the pre-market lows, and I'm wondering if it's going to be a bounce or if it's going to be continuation up. And at this point in time, I'm not really sure it's going to bounce because EMA is still pointing down. This is a very, very strong move down. So to suddenly think it's going to reverse itself, it feels like more likely it's going to see some continuation downward. So it breaks out and it continues down. I'm thinking it fits in this orange channel, breaks out of this orange channel, creates this second entry short. It's a new low. It's a first entry short, pull back. Second entry short. Now would it confirm the second entry short? I thought it's an almost trade. It's a break of this orange channel on this side. So I'm thinking this overshoot here, it might make a corresponding overshoot on this side. So I'm reluctant necessarily to go short just yet. I don't have this trading range drawn yet. It did have a potential resistance of this yellow down channel. So this yellow down channel could act as resistance, but that's basing it off the strength of it, pushing down further, as opposed to overshoot here, which might create a corresponding overshoot on this side. The other problem I have with this is it's a good signal bar, but it's inside this guy here. If it at least ticked one tick above and went down, then I would consider it, but it's all contained within the life and range of this previous bar, which is also bullish. Ideally, it would have ticked one tick above or ticked two just to hit the EMA and then reject down and close the same bearish end right here. Then I would have thought, okay, there's a trade here. So it's an almost trade. Looks like it would have worked though if you took it. You'd have to sit through this noise though to get your quick scalp, which wouldn't have been that quick. Kind of chops within this range. I saw this as a new low, first entry short, second entry short. This was tempting when I saw it in real time. The problem was when I see this, I'm not ready to take a short just yet. I was thinking they're in a trading range, but there's only one, and this could be the second confirmation. Then when it flashed up and came back down and confirmed second entry short, top of the range. I was thinking, oh, I missed the trade because you'd have to either take it on the engulfing because after the close here, it feels risky to put it one tick below here when you could have a potential support here. You could, I guess, set it back one tick below the original signal bar, but it's also a pretty big risk because this is a rather large candle. This is a 5-point candle, so it just felt a little bit risky overall. So it looked like if you did put it, let's say one tick above or one tick below this guy, you would have gotten filled, probably gotten your quick scalp. And if you put it one tick below this guy, yeah, it looks like you would have gotten the scalp too, but it just felt risky when I'm seeing a potential support right here. I did see this as a new high, first entry long, second entry long. It's confirmed second entry long here. It's also higher low. And I thought this is actually a possible trade because you have a new low here, first entry short, second entry short fails on this candle, and then it created a higher low. Now, when you see this candle form, you're thinking it might come up, press against the resistance of this potential pre-market, not pre-market, but this trading range. So I thought if I wanted to take this trade, it would have been a little more aggressive. The area feels congested, but it looks like there's some kind of transition happening. It's like trying to figure itself out, maybe to make one attempt up or potentially go down further. So there's a little bit of dynamic stuff happening here, but I wasn't 100% sure what was happening. But if I wanted to take this trade, I think I would have taken it on the engulfing of this guy. So maybe take it one tick above just to ensure I get out before the top of the range. But once it closed, I'm just a little hesitant now because I don't know if it's going to push back down and respect this range. But after the fact, I did see it as a higher low and second entry long. But, you know, maybe if I saw it, recognize it a little bit earlier, maybe there would have been a trade there, but it would have been aggressive for sure. Prices move up, and it enters the pre-market range again, but then it gets rejected. This is pre-market range. Here, pre-market highs, pre-market lows, and then it cuts rejected and it's starting to push back down. Technically, have a new high here, first entry long, second entry long, but it's still within this orange channel leg. New low, first entry short, second entry short, pushing back up. I don't have this purple line, purple channel drawn yet. You have a new high here, first entry long, but then it makes a double top, so I reset the count. So I counted this one as a new high, first entry long, pullback, second entry long, but this is a bad signal bar to have thought to go long on, which is down, and then it reverses back up. So when I saw this, I actually jumped in on this trade. It's a higher low after the break of this green up channel. It made one attempt down, push back, a second attempt down. Now, this was more of a hunch trade because I like that this higher low and I like the strong close. So I'm thinking the EMA is starting to act maybe as a little bit as a support. It's not the best and cleanest setup because it is a new high, first entry long, second entry long, and then the higher low here. Ideally, all this would have stayed above the EMA, but I thought this was close enough. These are pretty big candles side by side, but as I said, I kind of saw this and I had a hunch that it's a break this green one made one attempt up, pull back. It could be starting the second attempt up. You could argue it's the second attempt up here that failed, but the way I saw it is it looked like there's still just enough momentum here to get a quick 1-point scalp. So I entered. When this candle was forming, it was a little premature, so I suspected I could potentially get stopped out. My stop loss was down here though, and then I quickly got my quick scalp. No runner, just decided to take the entire position off. If I overstayed, looked like I would have gotten stopped out on this candle. Prices then get choppy. It's a new low here. It's a first entry short, pull back. Technically, you have a second entry short here. It's not a very good second entry short because it's a good signal bar, but it's above the EMA, which is starting to show a little bit of bullish trend up. It starts moving down. When it kind of comes down to here, I'm thinking there is some kind of support trend line here. And I wasn't really sure if there was a trend line up here to create it and make a channel. It starts floating back up. First entry short, second entry short, but there's a second entry short above the EMA on a clearly bullish trend, so you don't want to go short here. Kind of chops around, gets a little whippy. So it starts coming down on this orange channel. Nothing particularly clean because you do have a new high here. First entry long. Second entry long is a bad signal bar to go long on. Plus below the EMA on a clearly bearish leg down. It starts chopping, consolidating what I think is a kind of a messy looking trading range. So I'm not too interested. Pushes up. I do see a potential higher resistance here. I'm thinking this might be a bigger trading range. I want to see how this reacts because this could be a fail breakout, but it kind of keeps going up. So then I find this orange, this yellow up channel breaks, and then here I'm more confident in that this purple channel might be where prices are kind of reacting against the highs and the lows. Prices then move down, makes one leg down, push up, second leg down. It's just a little bit messy here. Nothing too uh, apparent for me. There's a new high, first entry long, second entry long. It's a bad signal bar. It's too neutral for me. Then it comes up and it looks like it's respecting this potential resistance here. And it creates a triple test here. Now I saw this and I saw it and I was thinking maybe there's a trade here, but there's no clear justification for me to take the trade other than it's a triple test with a small bar risk because this bar is only 1.4 ticks. And at the time, I was thinking there is a potential trade here because the way I saw it is it's a break of this green channel, made one attempt up and it tested the high. So it could pull back at least enough for a scalp. And then if it wanted to try a second attempt up, or if this truly was the top of a resistance or trading range that's yet developing, it could just continue downwards. In any case, there might be enough for a quick scalp. So I hesitated and then I saw this flash down. Now I'm okay missing the trade, but it was something I noticed. And certain setups like this, I do get a gut feeling that there is a potential trade there. However, I can't trust it enough yet on my read to take the trade because it could easily just push up again. So it's just something I noted to myself, having my own notes, just so I hopefully I see these enough times that I get a better read of whether there's a trade here or not. Kind of bounces up, flashes up really high, breaks out of this purple channel now, creates a double top. I saw a first entry long here. There's a potential second entry long. Now, this potential trade here, I'm thinking it's an aggressive trade though, because I'm thinking it's starting to move back into the pre-market range. So it broke out, it dwelled outside for a little while, and then now it's coming back down hitting the potential bottom of that gray range. It's a decent signal bar, but not enough for me to want to take a trade because the EMA is starting to trend upwards. Now, you have to keep in mind the EMA hasn't really been respected by price action except for early in the morning because then it broke above, then it broke below, above, below, above, below, above, below. But the overall bias is starting to move up. So it looks like it's a roller coaster that's started to trend up. So when I saw this, I'm thinking there might be a trade here, but it feels really aggressive. I figured if this confirms this second entry long, and it does right here, it's still closed below the EMA. It's a possible trade if you're more aggressive, but I'm wanting to see a higher low confirmation, ideally above the EMA, that will give me more confidence to take a long trade because you also just had a breakout here. So I'm thinking it might make one leg down, a quick correction, and then a second leg down to this purple. Pushes up, and it actually doesn't do that. It just keeps moving up higher. And then it just kind of gets choppy all the way into the end of the day. So wasn't too uh, wasn't too exciting today. There was one trade that was managed to get. Again, this one was a little bit more of a hunch read that I figured I think I see something here. But then even then, I didn't feel there were too many setups here that were, I guess, very clean for me to feel confident to enter on. So hopefully that was helpful.